Hi, it's Sue with Saving Words. This is part 11. Here we go. Thanks for being here. Tuesday, April 26th, 2011. In bed in Park Ridge. Walked into Dad's room at 10:30 this morning, but it was empty. Nurse Claudia said Dad was upstairs for PT on the second floor. Well, I didn't find him there, but I saw Mom wandering around also looking for him. Someone said he could be at Mass, so we checked the chapel. No, not there, which we already knew. Not in his current condition. I looked around on the first floor. No, not there. The staff called around and said he was at the third floor nursing station. Mom was there already when I got myself up to the third floor. What was he doing there? Very weird, but okay, I guess. He was tired and uncomfortable, so we got the nurse to help move him out of the wheelchair to bed. An hour later, he asked to get up. That was odd and a first. I was thinking, what's this about? Why is he asking to get up? Once in the wheelchair, we took him to the first floor activity room and rolled him right up to a floor-to-ceiling window. There he could look out to the patio where it was pouring rain. I watched Pop sit quietly and absorb the view. After about 10 minutes, I asked him if he wanted to look around a bit, to go on a tour. He nodded. So I pushed him to the snack area to check out the coffee machine. We all relaxed. We gathered around the coffee maker, as if we had arrived at a long-awaited destination and found the secret treasure. Mom poured Pop a cup of hot cocoa, which he held on to for a while. Some slow sips, some slow swallows. Then he wanted to return to his room. It had only been about 30 or 40 minutes, and earlier the nurse had said something about once he's sitting up in the wheelchair, he should, as she implied, stay up for 2 hours. I asked Pop what had inspired him to get into the wheelchair in the first place. And he said that he wanted to see how he would do, meaning to see how much he could still manage. So I let that sink in for a minute. It was an experiment, his way of determining if he could leave his room and interact with the rest of the world. Afterward, I told the nurse that he was testing himself, exploring how much he was still capable of doing. I was unnerved. She said that was fine, what he was doing. As I was leaving, Pop said, "Thank you for coming, Sue." He hadn't said that before. Before, it was just, bye. And today, he said it twice. So it was remarkable. I don't know if it was just a good day for him, or if he's going through a near-death transition and was expressing that through words, through a loving sentence. Twice. Tonight when I got home, I took photos of the spectacular star magnolia in breathtaking full bloom in the backyard. I posted one striking photo online. Then I went to Michael's volleyball game, and Mike met me there. Good night. Wednesday, April 27th, 2011. 11 a.m. Pop was on his back with his eyes open when I walked in. He had an empty chocolate mousse Yoplait yogurt on his tray and a trace of chocolate mousse on his lips. Okay, that's good. It's 160 calories, 35 from fat, 230 milligrams of potassium. Total carbs, 25 grams. 22 grams of sugar, 5 grams protein, 10% vitamin A and vitamin D, and calcium and phosphorus. Nurse Celia walked in, and I kindly requested Pop to be repositioned so he could stay off his back. He's very tall and his feet were jammed against the footboard, and his heel protectors weren't on. Celia said respiratory would be in Pop's room shortly, and she would fulfill my request to move him up in the bed. Then Pop initiated a conversation. Pop, are you stopping by the house on your way home? Me. I might. I could. Pop asked that we pay all bills that have come in ahead of the due date so that everything would be paid on time. I said we would, and added that Mrs. Burke, Mom's lifelong friend who is a nurse, could advise us with the medical bills if we had any questions. What else, Pop? Any other concerns? I asked him. That's it, he said. Just stay on top of the bills. Sure, we will, I replied. I'll stop by the house after I leave here. Then Pop said he would have some lunch and get a little sleep. 9:50 p.m. On the phone tonight, my friend Peg said I sounded energized. I said it was a pretty good day with Pop, and the volleyball game was good, and the days were getting longer, and I could still meander through the garden and caress the star magnolia flowers. I do wonder how Pop's night is going. I felt like I got quite a break tonight, and it makes me realize how Pop gets no break at all from what he is going through. Coughing, legs that don't move, wearing oxygen, wearing a diaper, living away from home, feeling helpless. That whole picture can bring me down fast. God bless us all tonight. Thursday, April 28th, 2011. Pop was coughing from 11 to 11:30 this morning, but now is quiet. About a half an hour ago, I started a random conversation. Hey, Pop, were you named after someone? After a pause, he said he didn't know. Then I asked, hey, Pop, was it your uncle? Were you named after Thomas, as in Thomas Walsh? Yes, he replied. His voice was now solid and strong. I told him a lot of our relatives and friends had mailed him get well cards, and that one was from his cousin, Mary Kay, my godmother. Actually, she had sent quite a few greeting cards to the house, and the most recent one was one in which she included a message saying that my dad and her dad, Thomas Walsh, had been good friends, and that my dad was named after him. Say, see what I learned yesterday, Pop? I had no idea. The nurse and the CNA just repositioned Pop. He needs to be turned from one side to the other to avoid any more bed sores. I wish I could hand something to Pop that would comfort him, like a soft little teddy bear. Now that he's been repositioned, he's coughing again, which is a good thing to try to get the phlegm up, but a bad thing since that wears him out. The sun is trying to break through. We've had one of the rainiest Aprils ever. Tornadoes have decimated Alabama and other southern states. The monarch butterflies are stalled at 40 degrees latitude, about 150 miles south of Park Ridge. That's according to the report from Journey North yesterday. No milkweed up in the garden as of yesterday, but I'm hoping it'll surface today. And yesterday, my friend Janet said to enjoy my time with Pop. And she should know. She accompanied her father a few years ago through illness, heartbreaking decline, through last breath and death. Pop looks fresh in his white t-shirt. I wish he could get up. He's taken the apple juice twice from me today, but still has 1/3 left. The sheet on his whiteboard says PT was here at 7:30 this morning. I don't know what happened at that session. Maybe we'll find out from OT, who is due here later. I just walked over to the refrigerator. I set 2 yogurts on Dad's tray. I'll ask him if he wants to eat in a few minutes. It's so hard to know what to do right now. I've read the newspaper, talked to Pop a little, and that's about it. What can I do for him? He just opened his eyes, so I presented the chocolate mousse yogurt and the strawberry banana one, and he nodded. So I opened and stirred the chocolate one. As I prepared to hand it to him, he said he would have it later. This is the least amount of food I'm aware of him eating, although he could have eaten something for breakfast. I'll see if I can find out. I just asked him again if he wanted yogurt, but Pop said no. I opened the box of treats Kath left here at Easter, and I inhaled a chocolate bar and guzzled one of the 3 apple juices on Dad's tray. Michael is home today. Only juniors are at school today for the ACT test. But Michael did have volleyball practice from 6 to 7:30 this morning. He and his friends walked home, even though I was parked in the jock lot waiting for him. They headed to Walgreens to buy a huge 99-cent Arizona sweet tea. Several years ago, when I was a hospice volunteer, the one sure lesson I learned is that the dwindling process doesn't go on forever. I wonder what's in store for our situation, but on the other hand, I don't really want to know. Yay, the chocolate mousse yogurt is gone, every speck, and I had Pop wash it down with the last 1/3 of his apple juice. And Dad just said he had a really good therapy session this morning and now wants to nod off for an hour. OT was just here. Pop got up in the wheelchair. Wow, I stayed for it all. Nurses Danielle and Margaret used the board to slide Pop into the wheelchair. Friday, April 29th, 2011. Pop asked for pain pills this morning and received respiratory treatment shortly after that. The treatment consisted of wearing a plastic mask over the face for 15 minutes. Now he is sleeping. He snored for a bit. He snored a little bit here, a little bit there, for a minute or two. I overheard the man in the next room tell his visitor that he's feeling good and doing well. It must be nice. It's hard to be in this position of not seeing what's coming Dad's way. I just brought Dad the strawberry banana yogurt, and he ate about 1/3 of it. No, it's not chocolate mousse, I know. Pop is uncomfortable today, and I saw Celia in the hall, and she said he was uncomfortable last night too. Now, it's 2 weeks today that Pop's been here, and he has been out of this room for probably just a handful of hours. So much for going down to the gym for visits, check out PT. Our hopes continue to carry us through Pop's days. I suppose it's been easier to not have known how these 2 weeks would have played out. The smiling faces of many of his caregivers have sustained us. The angels are what Mom calls them. Pop has been resting quietly today. Mom's golden daffodils add breath and beauty to our situation as they reach upward on Dad's windowsill to the soul of the sun. The magnolias rejoice. The pink tulips sing. Last night, I spent an hour digging up and transplanting my purple bee balm and rearranging other perennials in the wet earth and the soft drizzle. The world spins, the seasons change. We live, we die, we find God. Maybe it's not such a bad deal after all. Saturday, April 30th, 2011, 5:30 p.m. Mom just left. Dad received Roxanol and additional pain medication, and Heather, a wonderful CNA, just changed his diaper and repositioned him. I texted Steve, "Any games on?" While waiting for a response from him, Mom said one of the CNAs shaved Dad's face today. He looks clean, but he decided against wearing the dentures today. Before I got here, Mom told me over the phone that Celia, the nurse, and she had been discussing the situation and that Dad is dying. Mom told me that she had mentioned the feeding tube to Dad and that he told her, "Susan and I have discussed that already twice." So I calmly told Mom what Pop had said about all that, what he had said to me a good month ago. It wasn't the first time she was hearing this from me. Michael's team won the volleyball tournament today, so all that early morning practice has been paying off. I worked in the garden from 9 to 1 p.m. I planted 5 pink geraniums in front of the blue spruce, and then my next door neighbor, who is the same age as my mom, came over to admire the stunning star magnolia tree. Then we decided to see if the milkweed had surfaced, and there it was. We celebrated its return together with whoops and hollers and dancing. Kath called this morning and decided to drive up to New Buffalo, Michigan, where 35 high school seniors, including her son, are staying for prom weekend. I hope Kath has some time to soak up the sun and warmth of this spectacular day. Fragrant flowers adorn the neighborhoods across the Midwest. Mike and I returned Helena's daughter's car last night, which we had borrowed for a few days, and we ended up talking to Helena for quite a while about her father-in-law. He died of prostate cancer a couple of years ago at 85 years of age. He had received about 3 chemotherapy treatments, and he weakened quickly as a result. He developed a thyroid problem and couldn't swallow, so they inserted a feeding tube, which he was on for about 10 months. He got a bed sore and C. diff on top of his prostate cancer and dementia. In the end, he was moved to a critical care facility where patients recover within 2 months, or they don't. They expire. Need I say what happened to him? Before the feeding tube, Helena said the family worked so hard to bring him some food that he might be interested in. Her story sounded way too familiar. I wonder how tonight is going to go. Dad sounds like he's almost snoring, just like yesterday afternoon for a bit. At least he's getting some rest and reprieve from moaning and wrestling. Well, that's the end of part 11. Thank you so much for joining me. And the story will continue. Thank you.